Hey lady, don't you remember you was my lover?
I think the most admirable quality about you is that you're so multifaceted.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just appreciate the creativity in you. And so maybe I guess maybe I'll introduce you. We'll start with that.
Sure.
And creativity always comes to mind with you. But I know you're the founder of Live with Moxie, and you live in beautiful Enderby, BC. And I've had a chance to actually come out and see you. I think like last year around this time, I think it was, I came out to see you. About that?
I remember it was in the summer. We did a workshop at my old store called the Imaginarium in the summer.
That's right. It was an awesome
Yeah.
store. Yeah, I missed that store. You are the girl boss of the Pussy Posse, which I'm hoping that you'll tell everybody what that is. And I am part of the Pussy Posse, so I'm very proud. And obviously, you're founder and curator of livewithmoxie.com, and you are dedicated to turning on your artist vision of womankind, which we're going to talk about your awesome book in a second.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and you're married. You got 2 cats, and you got a dog named Dolly, I believe. I want to talk about your book, which I've just already pointed out, but tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, how did you come to where you are today? And it's a really, I think, interesting story, in my opinion anyway. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm 29 years old. I grew up in Kamloops, BC, in a suburb called Juniper Ridge, so I grew up right across from a forest. I went to high school in Kamloops. I went to fine arts school, so I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. Then I went into the B.Ed program. I thought that I wanted to be an elementary school teacher because I really love kids. Like, I like hanging out with them, so I thought that made sense to make art with them all day. But that was not the right path. That was the wrong place for me to be. Then my husband was working here in Enderby, which is about an hour and a half from Kamloops, where I grew up. And we decided to buy a house here sort of on a whim. We came here on a weekend and fell in love with this old house, and it was much more affordable than the places we were looking at in Kamloops. And I'm super sensitive. I don't know, you could call me an empath or a highly sensitive person. I don't really care. I think I'm just a girl. I think all girls are like this.
Yeah.
And I loved that in Enderby I could feel my own vibe, that I wasn't just simply receiving the energy of everybody else around us, that suddenly I could kind of tune into that little girl inside of myself and remember kind of who I was. So we moved here about 4 years ago, right before Christmas. And since then I've had 2 shops here in Enderby. It's a really neat place because it's cheap enough that you can try stuff out that you'd never be able to try in the city. Mm-hmm. So we've always called it an experiment living here, but I think it's working.
Yes.
And we shut down our boutique in the spring, in February, so that we could focus full time on the website, livewithmoxie.com. Mm-hmm. And that has slowly been sort of shape-shifting and evolving, and I think we're in a good spot. I feel excited about where we're at right now.
Yeah, and so what would you find? Obviously, I have your T-shirt. I have one of your posters. There's a lot of things that I want on your website that I think are unique that a lot of people can't find anywhere else. So what would people find on your online boutique, as you call it?
Yeah, I think I sell magic supplies for women. I don't like to say it's just for women, but I keep gravitating towards like helping out other ladies. So I suppose I'm a women's store, and we sell tools to help with self-love. We sell magic supplies, so like really cool eco yoga mats that have affirmations on them. And I have a line of skincare that's not up on the website, but hopefully before Christmas, if we can get our act together with our photo shoots, we'll get everything up. Yeah. Just stuff that, everything that we sell is things that I use in my own life. So it's, whether it's things to beautify your home or things to make you feel beautiful from the inside out, that's really my goal there, is to help people connect with what I call their inner verse.
That's right. that was actually a question I think I had for you, which what is your innerverse? What's my innerverse? Everybody has an innerverse. And so tell everybody what that is, because that's obviously in your book too as well. So tell us what that is.
Your innerverse, I would describe as the metaphysical world. So the things that happen beyond the physical. My personality type is an INFP, so I naturally live within my innerverse. I feel much more comfortable in my internal landscape than I do out in the world. So a Skype interview is perfect for me. I was like, yeah, we can talk while I'm in my house.
Yes.
So I think your innerverse is your mind, which is not just in your head, it's in your entire body. It's your feelings, it's your emotions, it's your energy. It's all the things that you're in contact with when you're doing your yoga practice or meditating or like having intention with your thoughts and all those kinds of woo-woo things that are trending right now.
That's right. And I met you at a women's business entrepreneur retreat, but I think I was there 100% to meet Danielle Laporte. I think that's probably why you got there too as well.
Yes, I'm one of her groupies for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I sat down beside you, and I just remember you being such a advocate for women, which I feel strongly about myself too as well. So you're talking. We talked a little bit about the Pussy Posse, and I think the Pussy Posse is, well, you can tell everybody what it is, but I feel like that's a group of women that really try and uplift each other, right? So tell everybody what hashtag Pussy Posse is.
Sure. It's an experiment that I started a few years ago. When we moved to Enderby, I had just finished having a series of issues with other women, and it seemed to be karma that was kind of following me around, that I was struggling with my relationships with women. So I kind of thought, what can I do to shift this and help other girls? Because I know this is a common story, especially for like girl bossy type women who are leaders and are just kind of doing their own thing. It's not always accepted. So I thought, what can I do to change this? How can I use my teacher almost degree that I had for the power of good? So I created the Facebook group called the Pussy Posse. I said that I was the president of this gang, so I became the gang leader. I made up a gang sign, which is, as it turns out, it's a mudra, so it's kind of awkward, but you can do this on your pelvis. Yeah. I have ladies all over the Okanagan flashing it at me, which is hilarious and awesome. So I created a sisterhood as I myself was studying feminism and the divine feminine and goddess culture and all kinds of things, and I just started putting theory into practice. And it has grown. We're at almost 650 members. There's girls from all across the world in the group. And it's everywhere I go, that's the buzz is about the Pussy Posse. People are so into it. They love saying the name. I think they feel a little bit rebellious just saying the word pussy and being allowed to, because there's a cat stamped on everything. That's so it's right. Like, A-okay. And it's changed my life. I feel like it's a project that's just beginning. I've purchased pussyposse.org, so it could turn into all kinds of things. But for now, I'm really happy with it being this sort of secret Facebook group that people kind of whisper about. And we've just started making like Pussy Posse merch. So I have some stickers, and I just ordered temporary tattoos last night. Oh. We're looking at making gang shirts. And I think that having the symbol, like something physical that you can tangible in your home, remind you of it, there's a lot of power in that. So that's what the Pussy Posse is. Everyone's welcome to pledge the posse. You just search hashtag Pussy Posse in the Facebook search engine, and it should come up, and I'll approve you to pledge the posse. It's a closed group, so what happens in the posse stays in the posse.
That's right. And valuable, like so much information that circulates there, and I'll be a lifelong subscriber for sure. So, so tell me, so first of all, your book, I love it. Love it. Really, I'm so happy about this book because, it's funny how things.
Well, that makes me want to cry.
Oh, really? I sincerely mean it. Like it's interesting because it's how things come into your life at the right time, and this book was one of it. So tell everybody why you wrote it and what it is about.
You bet. novel study. I call it novel study. So that's pulling from my roots as a elementary school teacher. So always trying to figure out like why I've done different things on my path and how they relate to where I'm at now. So I've used all my skills as a teacher to create, in the summer, I made an e-course called Novel Study of Women's Worth. And that was my first attempt at teaching adults on the internet. And it had an overwhelmingly positive response at the end of the 8 weeks. And every single girl in her survey at the end said that she wished that there was a workbook to go with the course content, because everything had been done via MailChimp on email, which is a great system, but a lot of girls weren't near a printer, or they just wanted things bound together in a more like a tighter little package, I guess. So I've always known that I am for my 29 years. I think when we know what our power is, we kind of resist it until, I hope, you embrace it. I don't know. I'm feeling more like embracing being a writer since writing more. But just I reworked the course content, and then I ended up ditching it and starting all from scratch. And I've created this workbook that stands alone, so you don't have to be taking an e-course from me. I wanted something that was really accessible, that any woman could engage with. All you really need is my novel study guide and Marianne Williamson's book, A Woman's Worth, which is a very classic text. It was written in the early 90s, and it's one of those books that when you read it, it changes your life. And every woman that I know that has read it, it has really touched her at her core. So I think it's a great almost prerequisite for everything that I like to talk about. And I'm always building the curriculum to kind of launch people and bring them up to where I want to talk about next. So I hope everybody does my novel study so that we can keep moving along and embracing and learning about what the divine feminine is.
But I have a few of Marianne's books, but I understand you just met her.
I did. So I finished teaching the e-course the end of the summer. I think it was like the beginning of August. And I was like, okay, I've got about a month and a half. I think I'm going to write a book. So I spent 10 days writing this book. And then on Facebook, it popped up that Marianne Williamson was going to be in Edmonton the beginning of October. So I took this as a sign that I had to get it. I had to self-publish this book. I needed to have it in hand, ready to sell at this yoga festival called Bloom in Edmonton. Like I just took this was a synchronicity that I needed to follow with. So I wrote the book, had it designed and illustrated, had it printed, paid for all this myself, drove to Edmonton with my husband. So that was an 11-hour drive. As we packed up, we made a pop-up shop that we're now touring around BC.
Yeah.
And yeah, we drove, we met Marianne Williamson. I got to listen to her speak. She has a copy of my book, and I actually have a copy here that's it's got her signature right on the front.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of endorsed.
It's endorsed. Kind of endorsed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure she's really proud of this book, because I think it's amazing. And so when I pick up that book, I'm going to work through your workbook. But take us through. I mean, you obviously it's a workbook to go along with the book, but there are some added elements to it, right? And I sort of touched on it a little bit.
Yeah, you can work through it without reading her book, but it's definitely designed as a companion.
That's right.
Companion product. Yeah.
Exactly. So you talk about a lot of my favorite things in here. Books being one of them, videos that you can sort of watch, but you talk about essential oils, crystals, all those sorts of things. So what would be, and I'm diffusing 4 essential oils right now in my diffuser that you mentioned in this book.
Yeah, you made a potion.
I made a potion. I did. And it's each essential oil through every chapter is sort of to tap into that femininity that we obviously all have. Clary sage I see on there, ylang ylang, frankincense, lavender. But what is your favorite essential oil?
Well, I find it hard. I really love them all. I know it's a lame answer. I think probably rose. I love rose because it's the love vibe, the heart chakra vibe. And
true. I'm like you. I change. I've gotten into now because it's winter. I've gotten into Douglas fir. I like that piney smell, and it's super grounding, and it's actually a little bit more masculine, right? I feel like essential oils. For me, every day change. It depends on my mood, right? Or if I want to bring something out of myself, The feminine sides, I would definitely pick, clary sage is really good if you're PMSing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome for that. So,
Mm-hmm.
what about your favorite crystals? I've got a lot here to myself, and I've just started to get into them.
Yeah.
But crystals have such amazing properties, and I'm going to be talking about it on my page a little bit more. So, tell me a little bit more about crystals and why they are awesome to have in your life.
Yeah, I've always been attracted to them just physically as objects. I like them for their beauty. And then
Mm,
as I've started learning more about them, especially moving to hippy dippy energy, you almost get a permission slip to suddenly get into all this stuff that as a city girl, you might be like, "Ugh, I don't want to be associated with those people."
I know.
um, so I really love, like we offered a few crystal workshops when I had the Imaginarium so we could learn more about them. And I love just learning that they have their own vibe and that we're all energetic. And as you bring their vibe in, like close to your body, your system realigns to match their vibration, which sounds super far out. But once you start playing with them, you're like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can dig it. So my favorite is clear quartz. I think if I were a crystal, I would probably be clear quartz.
Nice. And I think I might have a big one here, and I think it might be a clear quartz too as well. My husband picked it up
Mm-hmm.
for me as a birthday gift. I don't know, maybe it's not clear quartz, but it's similar to that. And
Yeah.
he picked it up, and when I looked into the background of the crystal, it's actually meant to bring out, trust and faith in you
Mm-hmm.
and honesty. And I feel like when you pick like crystals, because they've got actual energetic qualities to it, like it's
Mm-hmm.
legit, I think you're drawn to it because maybe you need to pull something out of yourself a little bit more, right? And so who would be your favorite goddess? And I'm sure that probably changes, but who's the one that
Mm-hmm.
you I have Mother Mary, of course, on mine, and I
Yeah.
was raised Catholic, and it's so interesting that was the one I picked. And yeah, I guess that's probably the woman I'm most drawn to. But
Yeah.
who would you be most drawn to?
Yeah, I've always connected with Mary.
Yeah.
I was also raised Catholic. I didn't identify with very much of it, but Mary
Hmm.
and I were always pretty tight.
Yeah.
Um, Mother Nature's definitely. I mean, Mother Nature is my homegirl. It's one of my favorite mantras. So, and I think my mom. Like, I think the women that I actually know in my life, and just remembering that we all are the goddess, and that it's neat to look up to these more stereotypical goddesses, but they're really just teaching us about the elements that we all have in ourselves. So, if I'm being hard on myself, need a bit of compassion, I lean into Mary.
Mm.
Um, if I've been eating a lot of crap or I need to like detox, I lean into Mother Nature. Like, I lean into the different goddesses depending on my cycle and my mood. I think much like the essential oils and the crystals, I think that's part of lady magic is that it's fluid. Mhm.
But why are mantras so valuable, and how do you use them? I guess.
Hmm. Well, I believe that words are magic, that every thought and every word that we speak has a vibration. And if we think of karma, what it's cause and effect, right? Whatever we're putting out will come back.
Yeah.
So I think the more particular you can be with the words that you use and the words that you think and how you communicate, it's just part of self care. And when I look at it that way, it becomes um, not easy, but it just kind of changes things for me. So I think for that reason, words and mantras are incredibly important. One of my favorite mantras is just the word abracadabra, which is I create what I speak. And that can really help me to create space before I give like a snarky response to somebody or, yeah, just before I spew out of my mouth. I think remembering abracadabra, and it's a grounding thing as well. So if you've got your phrase for the day, I mean, live with Moxie is a mantra. So you could remind yourself to live with Moxie all day long. I use I am the Big Bang, which reminds me not to shrink up and be small, that I'm made of stardust, that we're all connected. Um, so, yeah, I think it's like all these other things we've talked about. Pick the word for the theme of the day and then just use it on repeat inside of your brain. And it's a way to train your mind. Our minds are really mucky in 2015, and they're so scattered because we're bombarded with so much of everything all the time. So I think a mantra is almost like a mental exercise, and it's a super easy way to keep it real.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I find, I have a day job besides Eat Life Balance. I lead a double life, really. But by
I
day,
don't know how you do everything that you do. I'm amazed by women all the time.
oh, thank you. But it's hard, Monday to Friday. I have a great job during the day, but it's in corporate. It's in a corporate environment, and it could be tough. Like it's hard to feel centered and grounded, and to be the best version of yourself when you've got so much chaos, like you said, around you.
Mhm.
But that's why, like on my phone, if you follow me, I use the Spirit Junkie app, right? I think
Yes, I wake up to that in the morning. Yeah.
yeah, so I'll set that during the day, and that'll pop up to remind me, about something good. I have a few apps actually on my phone that I do that, or I post them in my house. That sort of. You love yoga like I do, and you've done some yoga teacher training, right? So, what would be your favorite yoga pose that somebody can do at home, easy?
Yeah, I prescribe everybody the exact same pose, and it's put your legs up the wall.
Yeah.
I think, like, I've lived with chronic pain in my body for years. I spent like a year and a half out of the last 3 years in my bed, unable to move. So that's kind of what brought one of the reasons that I went to yoga school, was to learn about myself and my body and like what the heck is going on here. Legs up the wall has saved my life. The list of things that it does for humans is crazy, and especially for women, it balances hormones. It can help relieve depression. It stretches out the hamstrings, which are typically uber tight on ladies. It's just bizarre the amount of, not bizarre, but it can seem bizarre what a simple act of putting your legs up the wall can do.
Yeah.
So that is definitely my go-to. Not the minute, but I'm getting pretty quick when I notice stress and anxiety, which is all the time. I got my legs up the wall, and it just helps to soothe and bring you back into balance. And then after that, I really like pigeon pose. That one
That one. It's my favorite.
has changed things for me too. Yeah.
Yeah. Look online if you're not sure what pigeon pose is, and my husband does that pose all the time. It's great for men. It's particularly great for women because we hold stress. Actually, we hold stress in three areas. Are in between our eyes, our shoulders, and our hips. But I find for most women, it's chronically in our hips. So that pose in itself can really release a lot of fear, anxiety, stress, all of those things. That's my number one. So that's a good one. I'm all about lifestyle tips. So what I do and other people do to sort of maintain balance in their life. What would be that one lifestyle tip that you do every day to just sort of, you talked about anxiety. I've suffered with anxiety for years. So what's one tip that you do to sort of keep you zen?
Yeah, it was brought to my attention a while ago that I hold my breath. And I think that your breath is a really direct way to tune in and see what your thoughts are like and what your emotions, where you're at. If you're holding your breath, you're probably having pretty low vibe thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And worrying is praying for what you don't want to have happen. So they're all spells, even if they're positive or negative. So I think tuning into my breath and remembering to breathe is by far the best thing that I have been able to do for myself.
My last question for you, or last big question for you, is what lights you up? What lights you up in life?
There's so many things that light me up. I really like being around little kids, like 0 to age 3. I feel really lit up when I'm around that age group. I feel lit up when I talk to women about their period. I've recently discovered that really lights me up. Talking about the moon, like I'm so jazzed on the moon, and I just want every woman to know about the moon, so that lights me up. Like a really good laugh. My husband and I spend a lot of time just hanging out together, and I just love being with him and laughing a lot. And then really great conversations with my girlfriends. I'm not really big into surface talk, and if I can sit down and talk about outer space and all kinds of neat things with someone that I love, that I'm energized after that. So I'd say that definitely lights me up.
Yeah, I'm not good with small talk either. But it's interesting. No. It's interesting how people I don't know, and I'm not trying to criticize, but I'm like you. I'm a bit of a deep thinker, and I like to have those conversations, especially with women, but some people are really scared of of those conversations, right? And I think that's what develops you, right? So now, where can people get your book, A Novel Study?
Yeah, it's for sale on my website, so livewithmoxie.com. We're going to be in your hood next weekend, so December 22nd, we are at the Blim Market in Vancouver with our pop-up shop. It's downtown at the Heritage Hall on 15th and Main. We have 2 pop-up shops in Armstrong, so locally, and it's also available in bookstores in Vernon, so it doesn't really help Vancouver girls, but if you're in the Okanagan, you can go to Expressions of Time in Vernon or the new Leap Art Gallery. I have copies there too.
Awesome. Well, we are giving away 1 copy on eatlifebalance.com, and I'll have more details on that. I'm actually going to be giving away some essential oils with that too. So whoever.
Oh, what a good idea!
This, yes, because you give me the book and I give the oils, because you and I agree that essential oils are awesome, among other things that are in this book. So. Yeah. And so people can learn more about you on your website, livewithmoxie.com. You're on Facebook and Instagram under your name, and as well with Live with Moxie, yes?
Yeah, you can follow me, Mrs. Fagervik, or you can follow at Live with Moxie for the business page. I'm on Pinterest. I'm all over the place.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And I love following you. So, well, I thank you so much for your time. And I love you.
Thank you.
Meeting you a couple of years ago, and you're like my online girlfriend. So
totally.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And what do you?
Yeah. Have the best day, my love.
Yeah.
Hey lady, don't you remember? You was my lover, you was my friend. Hey sister.